So, I have had pretty much crippling anxiety when it comes to competition over the last 10 to 15 years. I've been competing in sports, all my life, and especially when I got to high school, the pressure that I put on myself to excel and to do well has always been immense. I've always had this attachment toward performance, and the better that I could perform, um, the more love I could potentially get, I suppose. But um, it's one of those feedback mechanisms that tends to happen. So I have no idea really what I want to say right now, and I love that. And the more that I talk and the more that I access my heart, the more that the words that are coming out of my mouth are more from here. And when the words start coming out from here, amazing things can happen. So this last 2 weeks has been an amazing transformation for me. Over the course of my life, I've had pretty bad anxiety, crippling anxiety, I would say, when it comes to competing. I've been competing for a very long time. I played lacrosse in college. I did triathlon, Ironman after college. I've been doing CrossFit, competing in the sport of CrossFit on and off for the last 6 years. So essentially, for the last 20 years, I've competed at a fairly high level, and I've created quite a connection between competing and being having love and being loved. But the problem was that it's conditional love. That if I perform a certain way, then that will allow me to access love of myself and hopefully get love from others. But one of the things that I've been working on over a while now, this hasn't been like just the last 2 weeks, but over the course of the last year, is this acceptance and this love of what is, and acceptance and love of the thoughts in my mind. So let me go through the scenario of what happens the night before I'm supposed to have a competition. So usually what happens is I'm already anticipating what's going to happen. I start trying to breathe more, and all of a sudden the thoughts come into my mind like, oh, I really got to go to bed tonight, because if I don't go to bed, then I'm not going to perform well tomorrow. So instantly I'm already setting myself up for an expectation. I have to go to bed. If this, then that. What I've started to do, though, and what I've been practicing over a while now, is that when these thoughts come into my mind, instead of trying to bargain with them, instead of trying to explain them or reason with them, I've now switched to this concept of acceptance and love. So when that thought comes in and says, I really should go to sleep tonight, I say, I love that. I love that thought, and I accept it. And then when the thought comes up when, like, well, what if I don't go to bed tonight? Great, I love that too. I may not go to bed tonight. That's a possibility. And you may be saying to yourself, well, wait a second, that's basically like surrendering or giving up. Well, yeah, I would use surrender as the absolutely that's what I'm doing. I'm surrendering to this thought, because if I surrender to the thought, then I take away its power. So that's a really foreign concept to people, that your thoughts have this immense power because you give it to them. You give them the power by having the thought come into your mind and then wrestling with it. You don't need to wrestle with your thoughts. The thoughts aren't meant to stay with you. They're meant to come and go. So when the thought does come into your mind of, hey, I probably need to get to sleep tonight, you say, wow, that's a great idea. Thank you. I love you, and I accept you. And not a conditional acceptance. You're not accepting it, and you're not surrendering to it so that you can go to sleep. You're doing it because that's the only thing that you really can do. You can't argue and bargain with something and expect to get something in return. Realistically, it will happen effortlessly on its own if you just get out of the way. So what I'm really doing right now is I'm getting out of the way and allowing these thoughts to come through my mind. And I've seen the most amazing transformation over these last 2 weeks in terms of the way I think about competing, in terms of the way I have a mindset beforehand, the sense of calm and peace that I have the night before now. It's something that I thought that would never happen in my entire life. And I'm sharing this with you because you can do it too. You can go ahead, and I give you permission, and you give yourself permission to accept the thoughts that come through your head, to love them, because they're just a part of you that's screaming out for attention and love. And when you do actually accept and love those parts of you, they can just go whenever they need to. So they come and they go. And that's how life works. It's not holding on to things. It's just accepting for what they are. And when they come, great. And when they go, that's great too. So please comment and question and thank you. Thank you for listening.